You're watching KREX News.
Hello and welcome to the KREX News Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Now, a bipartisan bill concerning the integrity of crime labs here in Colorado passed the House and Senate. The bill, co-sponsored by Representative Matt Soper, comes on the heels of a Colorado Bureau of Investigation scandal. Ariana Boss has more.
Yesterday, a bill targeting crime lab misconduct passed the House and Senate with unanimous bipartisan support. Sponsors of HB 25-1275 say the bill establishes procedures to prevent lab misconduct within the crime labs at the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. Colorado Representative Matt Soper, a prime sponsor of the bill, tells us it all starts with transparency.
If a state actor has had misconduct in the state lab, that they must notify the prosecutor, defense attorneys in the case, and the victims and the defendant in the case, so that all the parties know that their case was possibly implicated.
Soper told me the bill also includes a duty for the state to investigate reported misconduct, and it also provides a pathway for individuals who are wrongly convicted to have their cases reviewed by the state.
There was nothing on point within state law that we could have used, so that's why we had to change statute right away.
The legislation came in response to the 102-count felony indictment of Yvonne Missy Woods, a former forensic scientist at the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, who is alleged to have manipulated data in over 1,000 cases during her 30-year career.
The Missy Woods case inspired this bill. Certainly, if someone's case was implicated by the Missy Woods case, we want to make sure that they have a path to be exonerated.
Colorado Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Schaefer released a statement on the bill saying, quote, "The Colorado Bureau of Investigation is committed to integrity and transparency, and this bill supports those values. We believe this bill is a significant step forward in reinforcing public confidence in the work of our crime laboratories. The provisions for reporting, notification, and post-conviction relief are crucial for accountability and for upholding the rights of all individuals involved in the justice system."
CBI's statement is very refreshing. They have seen that they had a problem, and now together we're addressing that problem by changing law.
Ariana Boss, KREX.
Representative Soper tells us the bill now goes to Governor Jared Polis for signature. No day or location of that signing has been announced as of yet. And 7 individuals were arrested as part of a drug trafficking organization in Garfield County. Now, according to the Garfield County Sheriff, Cindy Vasquez Martinez and Osvaldo Ramirez Andrade operated a drug trafficking organization that distributed methamphetamine and additional illegal drugs from Frisco to Rifle. Now, Spear and the DEA conducted a long-term investigation since January of 2023 into the drug trafficking organization. Now, the investigation led to the seizure of 4 pounds of methamphetamine, 3 ounces of cocaine, 9.5 pounds of fentanyl powder, 220 fentanyl pills, and a firearm. To date, 7 suspects have been arrested on charges tied to the long-term investigation: Sidney Vasquez Martinez, Osvaldo Ramirez Andrade, Henry Trujillo Benitez, Julian Cruz Carrasco, Jose Romo Gallegos, Cordelia Suazo Reed, and Juan Guevara Regalado were all arrested on a myriad of charges, including possession with the intent to distribute methamphetamine and unlawful distribution of fentanyl. This continues to be an active and ongoing investigation. And in other news, Colorado's mountains, including the Grand Mesa, didn't have a stellar snowpack this season, which doesn't help an already drought-plagued western slope. How will that impact water levels and fire danger this summer? Kyle Kawamoto has all the details.
It's very worrisome. We're focused on the best care of the land and the livestock in our community.
The western slope, along with the state of Colorado, is facing a low snow season, but that could come at a cost, especially with June around the corner. But some ranchers, like the Van Winkle Ranch, have a plan to work with the Natural Resource Conservation Service, which is part of the USDA and funding that comes through the Farm Bill.
I'm standing here in a very green, luscious field, but if I take a couple steps forward, it doesn't seem to look the same way. But it all comes down to this. Now, this is a very key factor, and with a very low snow season, what does this mean for our local farmers?
Currently off the Grand Mesa, my understanding is that we are at 65% of normal, and that's very concerning.
And taking a look at the irrigation around the valley, I spoke with Tina Berganzini about how this year's water supply from the Colorado River may be affecting the Grand Valley.
As far as our agricultural providers, they're used to this. They know that in really hot, bad years like this, that we'll have to go in restriction, that the demand will be higher than the supply.
Bettina says the Grand Valley Watering Users Association has prepared for a dry season like this, where they have check stations to examine water and back it up depending on the demand.
That was done not only to help be able to continue to provide reliable irrigation to our irrigators, but it also helps us keep more water in the river.
Mike Jones, management specialist for the UCR, tells me even though it may be a dry season, there will be enough resources to combat the fires ranging from the ground to the air.
So we'll have some helicopters and airplanes at the end of May, beginning of June, so that'll help with our forces, making sure that we're ready for whatever, and just doing training now, making sure that we're ready for what the season brings us.
Kyle Kawamoto, KREX News.
Jones also mentions the BLM is working with their partners and local fire stations to make sure they have extra resources. And officials from the GVWUA emphasize the importance of water in the Grand Valley and how to preserve it. Now, Mesa County recently released its 2025 State of the County video. It highlights the needs of the community and the steps necessary to tackle them. Jeff Hinkle talked to the commissioners about this year's address.
Each year, the Mesa County Commissioners release an update on what's going on behind these doors and around the community. This year, the topics range from anything from Japanese beetle eradication to infrastructure improvements. But as Commissioner Cody Davis says, every dollar counts.
We're, building 2025 infrastructure with 2020 dollars. There's a value difference there.
This year's State of the County address focused on a variety of topics, serving as a sort of check-in for what the commissioners are working on and what they hope to accomplish in the coming year. While the address is only about 10 minutes, Davis said it could be way longer, and the process to identify what's in the address is a tough one.
It's difficult to identify exactly what we want to talk about because we have 30 plus departments. I mean, there are literally thousands of things we could talk about in the state of Valley, but we want to make it less than 10 minutes. So I think we try to focus on things that are maybe out of the norm, that's not typical for county government, maybe something we're trying to strive for.
The State of the County is also a chance to get to meet some of the new faces in the county, like County Administrator Todd Hollenbeck and newly elected Commissioner J.J. Fletcher. The message of the address is simple. Team Mesa is working for you, and the county is trying to be as transparent as possible as to what's being worked on and what your money is being spent on. Jeff Hinkle, KREX.
Now, some of the achievements highlighted were an 86% reduction in the Japanese beetle population and more work to fix local roads through smaller projects like chip sealing around Mesa County. And a Mesa County deputy was commended for life-saving efforts she performed while off duty on April 6th when she encountered an elderly male laying on the sidewalk, not breathing and unconscious. Deputy Nicolette Niquette sprang into action without hesitation. She initiated CPR, doing everything in her power to revive the man until paramedics arrived. Although the individual sadly did not survive his medical crisis, Deputy Niquette's response exemplified her dedication to the service of others. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office stated Deputy Niquette's willingness to step in during a life-threatening medical crisis while off duty is exemplary of the highest values of the Mesa County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Niquette demonstrated that her commitment to serving and protecting the lives of the citizens of Mesa County does not end at the end of her shift. As President Trump's tariffs are still on many people's minds, the question looms about the local impact here in the Grand Valley. Kyle Kawamoto was able to speak with someone from Talbot Farms about how the tariffs are possibly impacting them.
The thing is it's going to affect the entire industry, and we're going to watch what the rest of the industry does. Of course, we want our customer to get the best value possible, but we are a business and we do have to focus on what our margins are, and if our margins continue to deplete, then we're going to have to increase costs somewhere or find other ways for cost savings.
As President Trump's tariffs continue to cause commotion around the globe, some wonder how it's going to affect local brewery distributors across the western slope. I was able to speak with Charles Talbot, who is the owner and director of operations at Talbot Farms. He tells me there isn't much concern at this time.
We haven't seen any price increases. We do source our cans domestically. The worst that we saw was during COVID. We had to source our cans out of South Korea and different areas like that due to low availability. As of now, we're unaffected, but it does not mean in the future it won't affect our overall cost.
Charles says the aluminum cans they use to distribute come from Golden, Colorado, and are shipped to 3 to 5 different breweries. He also mentions there hasn't been a significant increase in aluminum costs, But the Brewers Association released an article about the 25% increase on aluminum coming into the United States.
A lot of the smaller breweries that are focused on more draft sales, it probably won't affect them as much as it will affect the larger beer brands that are selling significantly more volume than anyone else. They have cost economies that make it a little easier for them to take the blow, but with a focus on more hyper-local, kegs are renewable. Kegs come back, you clean them, you refill them, you send them back out.
Charles says Talbot Farms is not worried. He tells me the farm is more of a blend, as they do an even balance of distribution focusing on can distributing and their local tap house in Palisade. Kyle Kawamoto, KREX News.
Thanks, Kyle. That's it for the KREX News Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Stay tuned every Friday for a weekly recap of the headlines on the Western Slope.